gluten-free sugar cookie.
The gluten-free lemon cookie.
I like that even more. Hell yeah, I might look for those. If we have Tate's in our store, I might look for those. Are they soft or are they crunchy?
They're country, but I figured out while camping, if you heat them up a little bit, then they're like soft.
Yeah, if you heat them up with a little bit of water, they probably soften up a little bit.
I bought their ginger ones to make s'mores with. And so I was like, after I put like, the marshmallow on it and flatten it, then I'd like stick them on my stick and just hold that near the fire and it would like kind of just make it really soft. It was awesome.
That sounds really good, actually. I never thought about using cookies for
Oh,
s'mores. That's actually a really good idea. I might try that.
God.
I'm not a huge s'mores person to begin with, but like the ginger snap or like a gingerbread cookie with a little bit of marshmallow doesn't sound half bad.
Oh, it's good. It's super good. I ate like 2 of them and that was probably more than I'll eat. I don't know. There's probably more than I've eaten in like 20 years.
You're like, s'mores! Just the whole bag. Where
Mm-hmm.
did it go?
Where did it all go?
Right now, I've got the new Takis flavor, which is like the ranch ones.
Oh, are
And
those good?
they taste like the Doritos Cooled Ranch wrapped, like rolled. That's the best
Okay,
way that I
that
can
sounds
describe
good.
them. They're actually pretty good. So much has happened since like the last time that we talked because I also went clothes shopping, which I need to send you everything that I
Yeah.
bought. But I actually bought color, and my parents are definitely afraid of me right now because I'm actually wearing something other than black.
They're like, what's happening to her?
Well, the fact that I picked up something that was pink and went, oh, this is kind of cute. And my mom in the store just looked at me like I grew another head.
That sounds about right.
She's like, "Are you feeling okay? Like, should we be concerned? What's going on?" No, I got a really pretty yellow sundress, and then I got a couple other things. Specifically, like the sheer like shaw kimono looking things. Like, it's the best way that I can describe them as kimono. I love those things. They are so cozy. They're breathable. I can wear tank tops with them, and I don't like pick at myself. I actually feel confident. It's a whole different world going on over here.
That's awesome.
Anyways, I know you just got back from a camping trip. And we
Into
have
the woods.
we have a goal here at Spattered Podcast to keep Sarah out of the woods.
It worked for a little bit,
It
but
worked
now
for a
I'm
little
back in the
bit.
woods.
So before we get started, while we understand that some individuals listen for the entertainment aspect of true crime, it's important to remember that these are real people with families and friends who may still be suffering from their loss. These stories are not meant to open old wounds or cause further emotional damage to those involved. We remind you to please be respectful and do not dox or contact those involved with cases. The cases discussed on this podcast may be disturbing to some listeners, and listener discretion is advised. So, Sarah, I've got probably one of your favorite cases. And just as a note for everybody listening out there, this case that I have for today is going to be a little bit short, but I doubt anyone's going to have a real big problem with that, especially after the two heavy hitters that we came back with Emanuela Orlandi and Susan Smith. This is
Is this
kind of.
more Keith Reinhardt?
No, no,
Oh, okay.
no. I wish. I wish I had an update for him, but there's still
That would be
nothing.
cool.
Yeah. I wish there was an update for him. No, this one happened a little bit more recently, like in the last 6 years. So we're going to go back to a national parks case that took place in 2019. So Colorado national parks are some of the most beautiful places in the world. However, they get their name for being the land of extremes for a reason. Rocky Mountain National Park's 415 square miles, which is nearly 265,807 acres, encompasses a spectacular range of mountain environments of the state. And there are over 300 miles of hiking trails in the Rocky Mountain National Park alone. So, Sarah, we've both been up to Estes. I feel like we got
I was born up there.
Oh, you were? That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's your
Yeah.
birthplace. That's your birthplace.
Yep.
Now I just need your birth time and I can get your full natal chart. Sneakily.
4:52.
4:52. Now everybody knows
It
your
was on a
natal chart.
Thursday. It was on a Thursday. Well, not all of them, because they don't know the year I was born. And it was during a full moon.
I came
I think
in
that's pretty cool.
on, I think, a Saturday at 4:23 in the morning. Like, I came in ready to party. And then became
On
the
a
hermit.
Saturday. Yeah.
I want to say it was a Saturday. I know that it was odd because it snowed on my birthday. Like, when they went in, it hadn't snowed. But when they came out, like, there was a good layer of, like, fresh snowpack. And I was down in Longmont.
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 Can I say that here?
Mm.
Longmont.
Longmont.
Oh, hello, Margot. She's on the computer.
She is. She's coming to ruin
She's
things.
typing. She's typing up documents. Don't you dare. Oh my god. Oh, she's got to smell the cookies. She's got to beat up the tarot cards and step on my printer.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, Estes Park, Colorado has a, I mean, we both have a pretty fairly good, like, layout of the area, I think. Granted, I haven't been up there since, I want to say, like, 2014, maybe 2016. I don't know if I went up there in 2016 when I came back to visit, but I haven't been in Colorado since 2016.
Yeah. They added a roundabout to the downtown and everyone hates it. So I haven't been up there since the roundabout.
I just remember that whenever we went to, like, go up there, because we used to go up there for swim meets sometimes, and then I used to go up religiously on my birthday to go to the Stanley Hotel. Because I was that girl that
The
wanted to see
spooky-
ghosts.
You're like, it's my birthday. I want to see a ghost.
It's my birthday. I want to see a ghost. I mean, Estes has always been, like, a beautiful place and holds a special place in my heart. Vail, on the other hand, whoo, I love Vail. It is so pretty. But yeah, Estes Park is home to Rocky Mountain National Park. So a lot of people go in and out of that area, and there's a lot of different styles of travelers that come through. So our story today takes place around the Glacier Gorge area of Rocky Mountain National Park, which it's, from what I could find, around a 3.8 mile hike up from the trailhead to, like, the main view of, like, Glacier Gorge or, like, Glacier Creek. Not entirely sure of that. I don't do a lot of hikes, and the website was a little confusing. But Glacier Gorge, Bear Lake, and Moraine Valley were shaped by the receding glaciers during the aftermath of the last ice age, which shaped the landscape into jagged cliff edges and majestic alpine lakes, which their tributaries travel downhill and supply water to the greater Colorado Front Range. So that would be basically where we were at. Now, Glacier Gorge Trailhead hosts numerous out and back hike areas to go see, which those seeking all-day hikes can find connecting trails to Bear Lake, as well as the Glacier Gorge area, which is a great ending destination for a launch point for a multi-day backpacking trip to Long's Peak, or from Long's Peak. Now, Glacier Gorge is considered one of the most popular trailheads in Rocky Mountain National Park, and it offers phenomenal opportunities for snowshoeing during the winter. On February 28th of 2019, at approximately 10 a.m., 70-year-old James Pruitt of Etowah, Tennessee, left for a hike to an unknown destination in the Rocky Mountain National Park, leaving from foot at the Glacier Gorge parking lot. On March 3rd, a vehicle was discovered parked at the Glacier Gorge trailhead without a backcountry permit, which prompted suspicion from park rangers. It was determined that it belonged to James that morning, and the rangers contacted his family back in Tennessee. Upon contacting James's family, they informed officials that he had no intentions of staying overnight in the park, just that he was doing a day-long hike. The family confirmed that he was in the area and that this was, in fact, his third time making a winter visit to Rocky Mountain National Park over the past 3 years. However, no one had seen or heard from him since that Thursday morning. Now, they were able to get a snapshot of CCTV video from a Safeway in Estes Park on Thursday morning that showed James leaving at about 9:48 a.m. with a bag of groceries. From Thursday, February 28th to the Sunday of March 3rd, there was significant snowfall in the mountains where more than 2 feet of snow accumulated in the Glacier Gorge area. This made it challenging to search efforts for them to find any information or clues to where James' whereabouts may have been. And not to mention, it posed a challenge for park rangers as well. Like, I don't know if, I'm pretty sure you've been up there when it snowed. Like, I've gone up to Winter Park after a fresh snowfall in the mountains, and a lot of us choir kids weren't the smartest of the bunch, and we walked across like this solid like snow area, and we were all looking at the little trees because we were like, oh my god, look at the little saplings, like the little Minecraft saplings of like trees. It's the tops of the trees.
Yep.
It's
Don't
the
wanna
tops
fall
of the
in that.
trees. Yeah, no. And we walked right across it. It's a miracle I'm alive. It really is. So, to put into perspective for you, like, active search efforts took place March 3rd through March 9th, and crews began searching the park on Sunday, March 3rd, starting at Glacier Gorge, Loch Vale, and Glacier Creek drainage areas. Now, these search and rescue people are basically in chest deep snow at some points. Like, it's no joke. It is a hard, rigorous search that is going on. On Monday, March 4th, searchers continued looking in those areas along with Glacier Gorge, North Longs Peak, and Boulder Brook trails. The drainage east of the Alberta Falls Trail, the Bear Lake area, the Nymph Lake area, the Dream Lake area, and further to the lake, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce this, Hayaha, and the Loch Mills Junction, according to the news release, were also searched that day. So this was like a mass amount of people going out to search this area. Larimer County Search and Rescue, which included one of the many dog teams that was out there, Rocky Mountain Rescue Group, Diamond Peaks Ski Patrol, and the Colorado Search and Rescue Board all assisted with that search that was held on Monday. They searched off of the trails as well, which, like I said, search and rescue workers encountered upwards to chest deep snow or deeper in some of those areas, which made it pretty impossible to do the search thoroughly. On Tuesday, March 5th, a multi-mission aircraft from the state of Colorado assisted with efforts with fixed wing aerial reconnaissance over Sky Pond, Lake Hayaha, Flat Top Mountain, and Bear Stand Lake, but ultimately they came up dry. And due to the lack of clues, as well as the extreme weather conditions, the search and rescue team was very limited on what they could do with their operations. And unfortunately, the search was suspended on Friday, March 8th. However, it was noted that patrols would continue their search of the area and further actions may be considered as conditions improved. However, it's also noted that search and rescue teams would turn to limited but continuous operations on May 11th due to the extreme weather because it's still snowing, like it's still coming down. There was a follow-up search held on Wednesday, October 9th, where search efforts were concentrated in the off-trail areas in the Prospect Canyon drainage and the Glacier Gorge drainage above Jewel Lake. There were a total of 5 different teams composed of 40 searchers conducting grid search methods in areas heavily covered with thick timber, dead and downed trees, thick willow, tall grass, and mountain streams. Like, it is rugged terrain out there. In an update on the National Park Service website, it's also mentioned that throughout the summer, smaller teams have focused specific searches in other segments of the area. And there's also been significant visitation over the course of the last 4 months leading up to this organization or this organized search in October, during which there were no clues as to where James had been going or anything left behind.
So a really big spot that people will try and get to, which is like really close to the Glacier Gorge trailhead, is Emerald Lake.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the hike, I think. You know, you go from Bear Lake, and then you could also go up to like the Glacier Gorge, or you can head over to Emerald Lake.
Yeah.
And that is also like a huge hotspot. So, as a tourist, I'd kind of assume that he'd be going to the one that like everyone knows and everyone talks about.
Yeah. Because you want to
I'd
see it for
I'd be
yourself.
guessing.
I mean, if
Yeah. Oh
he's been
yeah.
here before, maybe it's something that he's tried before, he's just not made it, and he decided this time he's going to go through no matter what, and that snowstorm hit.
It comes in fast in the mountains too.
It
Like
does.
you'll literally just be like walking along, and then you'll see the clouds roll in, and then you'll just see like it's almost like a fog that just starts to overtake your path.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not always like the most dangerous thing, but it'll be completely clear. And then, in about 20, 30, 40 minutes, you just have snow coming in. And it's like, oh no.
Oh, yeah. No, because I've listened to, oh God, what is that other podcast? I've talked about him before. I want to say it's Locations Unknown. They describe like why you should like try if you're going up like a mountain or like into the mountains, you should really try to do your trip in the morning and be back by about mid-afternoon because like you're
That's
more
when the
likely
storms
to
hit.
have storms mid-afternoon. And that's part of the reason that they also like when you're summiting Everest, they go in the morning because it's a long trek up. It's a long trek back down, and you're racing the weather too. Like, there are so many factors that go into going up into the mountains that you got to be aware of. Like, you got to be aware of what's the weather coming in. Do I have the right supplies? Do I need to recalculate how I'm going to do this? Does anybody know where I'm going? And that's like the biggest thing that I noticed here. Nobody knew where he was going.
Yeah.
Like, if you are going up and going hiking, and it's not to say, like, this is at all his fault. Like, I'm not trying to do that. But if you are going hiking somewhere, at least let somebody know back home or a friend that's close to you, like, hey, I'm going to hike up to Emerald Lake. I should be back around this time. If I'm not, might be a good time to call for help. And obviously there are other things out in the national park that can pose a threat to human life. And like you have to take into consideration that they reintroduced wolves into the Rockies, I believe, back in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
There are mountain lions up there. There's
Yeah.
bears. There's a lot of things that can easily overwhelm a single person on their own. And that's not even taking into consideration like this area is known for jagged cliffs and sharp rocks because of the way that the water is cut it out through millennia. All it takes is one wrong step too, and then it's like you're injured and nobody knows where you are.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, is like if there was enough snow
Mm-hmm.
prior to him stomping around up there and prior to it snowing, then
Oh
it
yeah.
might be hard to tell where the trailhead is. I mean, like a lot of people do go up there though. Maybe it'd be easy to find because you just follow all the footprints. But typically they have that area closed off during the winter. Yeah.
We've been in whiteout conditions, and like to put it into perspective of living just below Estes, like down in the valley or the basin,
Mm-hmm.
you could literally shovel your driveway. And I've done this before because the year that we were getting ready to move, I was the only one that was at home. And I shoveled the driveway, and we had like this horrendous whiteout blizzard going on. And I shoveled that driveway, and every time I turned around, there was a new inch on my driveway. And I eventually just got to a point that I was like, this isn't even worth it. I need to wait until it stops snowing. Because right now I'm battling an element that I have no control over. And like, you couldn't even see where I walked or where I had scraped off. That's how fast it was coming down. In the
Well,
mountains,
sometimes
it's so
mhm,
much
you can't
worse.
even see the houses next to you.
Oh, yeah. Or like,
No,
if you're
like it could be
driving in
like
it, yeah, it's just whiteout conditions. You don't know what's around you.
you can barely see in front of you. It's like driving through the stars.
It really is. It's like going light
Hmm.
speed. I used to say that when when I'd get home from like school after driving through snow or like the whiteout conditions. I'm like, it really feels like the Star Wars when they like hyper jump in space. Like all you're having is this like flurry of white coming at you. And especially if it's dark out too. Like whiteout conditions in the dark are probably the scariest drives I have ever had in my life.
Hmm.
Like I would take a downpour any day over that. So no, I'm like on your side of things when it comes to like he could have been following the trails if like somebody else had hiked ahead of him, but you got to think of how fast is that snow coming down? Are those footprints going to be visible? And are you trained to actually look for those? Like not a lot of people know what it looks like when you step in snow and like fresh snow falls over a footprint. Like there's usually a little bit of subsidence, but ultimately, like if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. So yeah, and that's kind of where the National Parks Services has gone with this too, is that it is very likely that James had either been injured or caught up in the storm and probably succumbed. So at this point, obviously, they're looking for remains. Now, during all this, there have been no clues as to where James is. There's no clues as to if he left anything behind. And there's no information as to where he was going. Now, the Rocky Mountain National Park has noted that they plan to continue search efforts for James Pruitt moving forward. However, park rangers would like to hear from anyone who was at or had been to Glacier Gorge or the Bear Lake areas since Thursday, February 28th, 2019. Specifically, they want to talk to people who may have come into contact with James on that day and may have been in conversation with him and had been told where he was going or at least his planned route for that Thursday. The National Park Service has also reported that clues will be investigated as appropriate. But that's all we know as far as James Pruitt's case goes. That's all I could find. Like I said, it was going to be kind of a short episode today. A little bit of a breather after those two really rough cases we came back with. But James's family needs answers. So, like I said, and like the perk said, if you have any information regarding James, or if you may have talked to him, or you know somebody that frequents Rocky Mountain National Park that may have been there that day, or if you know somebody that was there that day, share this with them so they can kind of hear the story and get like a feel for what was going on. We'll also post pictures on our Instagram and our Facebook of James Pruitt as recorded on his NamUs profile. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Sarah, what are your thoughts?
That's terrifying. But we have missing persons cases all the time up there, which is
Oh, yeah.
kind of devastating. Um,
Like when looking at James's case, I came across 3 other cases of people missing in the Rocky Mountain National Park area. I don't know who all's been found because I didn't dig into it super deeply. I thought about it because I was like, maybe I should grab another case for this episode. But like one of the cases that popped up and I actually started looking at was there's a case from I want to say 1951 of an unsolved homicide that happened up there or suspicious death.
there, oh, I can't even remember the guy's name, but it wasn't too long ago. There is someone who went missing, I think, up near Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
And like there are posters of him everywhere. Like you'd go on Facebook or Instagram and you'd just see like missing stuff for him. Even just like walking around town, you'd see like flyers for him and stuff. And they did find him deceased and he had fallen.
I think I read about that
I
one
think, yeah, yeah.
because they mentioned James
Just,
in the article because he's still missing.
yeah. Um, and it's really too bad. And I almost wonder if he was like a college student,
Mm-hmm.
this one guy. I mean, he was maybe old enough to be working like after being in college for a while, but I was kind of guessing that like he was one of those people that came to Colorado, for school, stuck around, played in the mountains, but I don't know. There's definitely so much that can go wrong, and we already talked
Oh
about the
yeah.
weather and just how fast it changes, especially with 2 feet of snow. Like the last time I was in 2 feet of snow, I think it was like 22 or 23. And I went over to my friend's house because it was closer to my job at the time because I thought I'd have to go in and I didn't want to drive like all the way through the snow. And I don't know what I thought 2 feet of snow was, but we were closed for 3 days. And like on the
Oh yeah.
third day, I had to go back and work on the fourth. And so me and my friend's dad went out and we had to like dig my car out. Like it was insane. There were just like piles in the road.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably took us like 40 minutes to get all the snow off the car.
I remember in high school we had that whiteout, and I was driving at the time. And I remember that we were all kind of like waiting to see if they were going to cancel school. And at around like 7:30 when people are starting to show up and like get ready to go in for classes, they still hadn't unlocked the doors. And then they finally called it at like 8 a.m. that school was canceled.
Yeah, after we all got there.
Mm-hmm. And the buses had left.
Perfect.
It was so dumb. I can't remember if I took you and Tay home. I think I took Tay home.
I might have been driving at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember getting there. I was like, son of a bitch. Now I got to drive back in my little Honda Civic. Actually, I think I had the Jeep at the time. I think I did have the Jeep at the time, which was like 4-wheel slide. Would have rather been in the Honda Civic, to be perfectly honest. Because the Jeep just did not like to stop on ice at all. It didn't like to stop on snow. It didn't like to stop in the winter. It was a scary drive usually. But yeah,
I remember my first car and like trying to drive around in the snow and it had rear wheel steering. And we were just going through neighborhood streets, me and one of my friends, and I like go to hit the brakes and I just keep sliding.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, we're not stopping. And I would just like slide through a stop sign.
Oh yeah.
and keep going. It's just half the fun,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
I just remember white knuckling it all the way back from Front Range Community College to my house and just like scared shitless on Taft Hill Road because my Jeep maybe would stop or maybe she would slide. Like if I had to like stop for a stoplight, I started stopping way back there just to make sure A, I didn't get in a crash, B, I didn't ditch her, or C, I didn't slide through into the intersection because my god,
It's too easy.
it's way too easy. Be careful driving out there, folks. But yeah, no, when it comes to significant snowfall and like the Rocky Mountains get hit pretty regularly and with how fast it can change and just drop up there, like it can just come down like nobody's business. It's really terrifying if you're not used to that type of weather and if you get caught in it because honestly like there's times where you just don't know what to do and trying to come back down and like move away from those areas can be dangerous and all it could have taken like I said is a wrong step or maybe there was one of those fields because like there are photos of how the trees were buried and you just have the tips of those up. Like those are dangerous to walk over. Don't get me wrong, it was funny when like me and the choir kids did it because we didn't understand at the time. But looking back at that, that's so dangerous.
Yeah, well, falling through, you don't
Mm-hmm.
know how tall some of those trees are. 20
Exactly.
feet, and you're just stomping. All it takes is one person, and then the helicopter is having to fight for life the ladder into the hole.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But yeah, no. Make sure that if you're going up hiking, you're going camping, you're doing anything of that nature, you need to make sure that somebody who's not with you knows where you're at, how long you are planning on staying, where your final destination is, and what your route to there is. Or at least the general area that you're going to be in. Because in the worst case scenario, like with poor James here, if you were to go missing, that at least gives search and rescue a solid area to start looking in. But anyways, Sarah, how are you feeling?
um, I mean, it's sad. It's super sad. He's in his 70s.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying to have a fun little trip out to the mountains.
And it's not his first time
And it's
either.
the last. Yeah, yeah. He's more than an amateur, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And he's probably been doing it for a while.
Well, I imagine
He's in
he's
his
from
70s.
Tennessee. Like, I imagine he's gone
Oh,
and hiked
yeah.
the Smoky Mountains multiple times.
So, and then that's even worse because of all the brush, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You could, there's a reason why people go missing on the Appalachian Trail, like 100 feet from like the trail.
Oh, yeah.
They
Like,
just can't see it. It's so
you
dense.
can't see it. Like, going through the Smoky Mountains myself, because I've been up there, the trees come up to the road, and yeah, you can kind of see through them sometimes, but at other times, it's just a wall. And that's it. It's very like the forest that we have here in Arkansas, too. It's a little bit thicker over there, but really, like looking into the tree line here, you can see a little bit of the ways in, but after a certain amount of time, it's very easy to get turned around and it's hard to see your way back out. So, unless you kind of had that like natural, like guidance to be like, the road was this way, you run the risk of, if you go off trail, of getting lost. And that's why they tell you when you go into areas like this, like, do not leave the trail.
It's too easy, Bing Bong. Oh, that's my cat. I call him that because he's like the imaginary friend from Inside Out. Whereas no one would believe that I owned him
Oh,
because he hides.
that's fair. I think Salem's probably behind the couch, and I'm going to have to go retrieve Brina from inside because I think my parents went to bed and she's still in there. I hope she wants to come to bed. I'm not sure if she does or not. Both of my girls are super shy little beans that run away from everybody.
Mm-hmm. The imaginary cat friends.
Mm-hmm. Except at night when I'm like trying to read. Oh my God, trying to read last night with both of them wanting to snuggle, but not wanting to touch each other. Like I had Brina in my left armpit, and then Salem decided she was going to take center mass of my chest and just lay there and stare down Brina. I'm like, am I going to have a cat fight on me? I really don't want this. I just wanted to read and calm down before I go to bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of that. I know my little kitties start scrapping, but it's usually because Leviathan wants to jump on Margot. He looks at her like the children look at Totoro, like...
The
bounce, bounce, bounce.
bounce, bounce, bounce. Salem looks at Brina like she's going to eat her. And then Brina sometimes just smacks the heck out of Salem for no reason. I'm like, you know what? You kind of deserve to be ate. I support your decision,
Yeah.
Salem. Go for it.
Chomp, chomp.
Well, she's gotten into this mood lately where she sits on the edge of the bed and she waits for Salem to try to come get into bed and smacks her.
And then she hits her. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right for cats.
They're crazy. But anyways, I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of James Pruitt's NamUs information. So his sex is male. His ethnicity is white or Caucasian. His height is 5 feet, 6 inches tall. His weight is 150 pounds. Hair color is gray or partially gray. Eye color is blue. The last date of known contact was February 28th of 2019. He is missing from Rocky Mountain National Park in Estes Park, Colorado. His age at the time of his disappearance was 70 years old, and his age currently would be around 76 years old. The circumstances of the disappearance, which we covered in this episode but are summarized here. James was last seen leaving from the Glacier Gorge parking lot on February 28th of 2019. He left for a day hike to an unknown destination and has not been heard from since. Additional information is that James Pruitt was believed to have been wearing a dark blue jacket, blue jeans, an orange or red beanie, ski goggles, and micro spikes on his shoes. His NamUs profile number is MP106423. That number again is MP106423. If you or anyone you know has any information regarding the disappearance of James H. Pruitt, you are asked to contact the Rocky Mountain National Park Services at 970-586-1206. That number again is 970-586-1206. Thank you again for listening to Spattered. Please make sure to follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Spattered Podcast and on X at Spattered Pod. If you're enjoying the show, make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be notified when the show goes live or drops a video. As always, if you have a case request, any questions, or are interested in sponsoring the show, please email me at spatteredpodcast@gmail.com. Spattered is a true crime podcast hosted by Caitlin Gardner and Sarah Ray. The research and edits for this episode were done by Caitlin Gardner. All the music for the show was done by Lucio Cardenas. We'll see you next time. Stay safe out there. And remember, the truth is always in the blood.